recording?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So here's our first problem that we're going to look at. This is actually has to do with what we call an inscribed angle. So do you see how the vertex of the angle here is on the circle?
Yes.
That makes it a vertex, an inscribed angle. So let me just grab a clean sheet of paper here. All right, so when you have an inscribed angle, what you're going to look at is you're going to look at the relationship between the angle itself, which is right here, we'll call this angle 1, and this is the
Okay.
arc of the angle. So when the vertex is on the circle, the measure of the angle is equal to half the measure of the arc. So for example, if this arc was 100 degrees, then what would the measure of this angle be equal to?
Um, I was gonna say a half, but no, that might be wrong.
Well, it would be half of 100. So what would the
50.
50? Okay. And then that'll work the other way as well. So let's say that you're given the measure of the angle. Let's say it's 30 degrees. Then what's the measure of the arc?
60.
60 degrees. So that's the idea that we're using here. You have this inscribed angle, so the vertex here is right here on the circle. So the relationship between the circle and the arc is that the angle is half this arc. So which choice over here would be the correct answer? What is going to be your what should your angle be if the angle is 52?
So this half, you add 52 with 52, which is 104.
Right. 100 and what now, honey?
4.
104. Very good. All right. So on this next triangle here is very similar situation. In fact, let me go ahead and I'm going to snip this onto the piece of paper that we're working on.
I want you to call me when that is on. Is it that man grab his heart or a lightning bolt strike his ass? If those two things don't happen, call me, tell me, come in one thing.
Okay. Why won't this paste? Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. So you'll notice that when you have this triangle inside the circle, it actually ends up that you have like all these different little angles, right? Angle A, angle C, all of them.
Okay.
So each one of them, remember, the angle has a certain relationship with the arc. So what they want you to find is what is the measure of arc BEC, which is this arc here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got to do it in a series of steps. First, you got to find the measure of this angle right here, angle C.
Okay.
So since this arc is 76 and the vertex of this angle is on the circle, what's the relationship between the arc and the angle?
Oh, Lord.
Take a minute to think about it. Don't rush, okay?
Okay. Can I get like 2 answer choices?
Well, remember it's half the arc. So the measure of angle C is equal to half the arc.
Okay.
So what's the measure of the arc?
26? No, it's not 26.
Not 26. Here's your arc right here, and there's the angle. So what's the measure of this arc?
I'm trying to think what's half of 76.
Right, so it's half of 76. Do you have a calculator with you?
Yes, ma'am.
So just take 76 and divide it by 2.
Okay. I got 38.
That's correct. 38.
Okay.
So what we know so far is that the measure of this angle here, get rid of some of this stuff here. So now we know that the measure of this angle is 36, correct?
Yes.
Now I know two angles of the triangle. So how do I find angle A, which is the measure of the other triangle?
Do I do that one and have 2?
No, how many degrees are in a triangle?
Oh, Lord. Okay, a circle got 360. Is it 180?
180. So figure out how many degrees. So you know that one of the angles is 75.
Mm-hmm.
Another angle is 36. So what does this angle have to be so that they all add up to 180?
Coming. It's not, Lord. Is it 105? No.
Okay, if you add these two angles up, 75 plus 76, what do you get? I don't want you to guess, sweetheart. I want you to use the calculator. So what are these two angles?
151.
Okay, 75 plus 36.
Oh, no, you had said 76 while I was on my calculator. Oops. $111.
Okay, so if you have 111 plus x equals 180, how do you solve for x?
Okay. $69. Is that right? 75 plus
Yes, yes, so x equals 69. So now we know that this angle here equals 69, okay?
Okay.
So the vertex of the angle is on the circle. They want to know what the measure of the arc is. So what's bigger, the angle or the arc?
The angle? No, the arc.
The arc is bigger. So if the angle is 69, what's the measure of the arc? Remember, the angle is equal to half the arc. So 69 is equal to half of what?
Okay. I'm sorry, my calculator is loading.
Do you have a calculator on your phone, hon?
Yes, ma'am, that's the one I'm using. Like,
Oh.
like, I don't know. Hold on. I got 34.5. That's right.
Remember, the arc is bigger. So if the angle was 50, remember the arc was going to be 100. So how would I get from 50 to 100?
You add another 50.
Right, so you double it or multiply it by 2. So if the angle is 69, what's the arc?
138?
Correct. So the arc's 138. So that's the answer to the question. It's 100.
The first time I had divided it by 2.
Okay, yeah. Remember, the arc is bigger, not smaller. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so then the next question has to do with area of a sector. So let's go ahead and look at this picture again. Okay, so the formula for area of a sector is you take the measure of the angle over 360 times pi r squared. And the pi r squared comes from the fact that this is the area of the circle. Okay?
Okay.
So m represents the measure of the angle. So my angle is 60, and that's over 360. And then r is the radius. So what's my radius?
Isn't radius half? So 30?
No, the radius is the length from the center to the vertex of the circle.
12?
So that's 12 squared times pi.
Okay.
Okay? So if you're using your calculator on your phone, then you're going to do 60 divided by 360 and then times 144, because that's what 12 squared is, times 3.14. And I'm not, yeah, the answer actually was in terms of pi. So they want you to leave this as pi. So you're just figuring out that part.
Okay.
So what was your answer?
I got 120. I don't know if that's...
Okay, so you took 6 and divided it by 360 and then multiplied it by 144, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I get something different, so try it again. Do 60 and divide it by 360.
Okay.
What'd you get?
Got the same answer. What is going on with the
Have a
calculator?
regular calculator that you can use, Asia.
Yeah, I'm retyping the problem right now. I had hit the thing by accident. I'm sorry.
Now what'd you get?
24?
24, but then you got to include the pi, right?
Yeah.
So it's 24 pi. But that's your formula that you're going to use for area of a sector.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
All right. So then next, you did good on that one. This one here has to do with finding those arc lengths again. So here's your picture. This time they want to know what is the measure of the arc. I believe it's EAC. EAC. So they want to know what is the measure of the arc from E to A to C. So one of the things they tell you is the measure of arc AB is 55. So this time you have what they call a central angle. In a central angle, the measure of the angle is equal to the measure of the arc. So if this arc is 55, what's the measure of this angle right here, AOB?
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Do I take half of 55 or do I add 55?
On a central angle, the angle is equal to the arc because the vertex of the angle is on the center.
So is it 55 again?
It is 55. So this is your central angle. So this is 55. And then what's the measure of this angle? Because what type of angles are these?
Right? No.
No, they're vertical angles,
Yes.
right? So this is 55, which means what's the measure of this arc right here?
55.
55. Now, if you were to go all the way around the circle, how many degrees would it be if you went all the way around the circle?
360.
360. But we don't want to include this little piece here. We want to take it out. So how do we take it out? What are we going to do?
We're going to subtract. No. I did it wrong. We're going to take away.
Oh, wait. And they also told us that this arc is 25. So we want to take out this whole piece here, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to take out this piece. So we're going to take 360, which is how much it would be all the way around the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to subtract that piece that's 55 and the piece that's 25. So what does that give you?
Oh, I'm so slow. 280? No, ain't no 280.
Yes, 280.
Okay.
280. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So next here, you did good on that. Did fine on that. This one just says which circle has a radius of 10. The word radius means you got to go from the center to the edge of the circle. So it's this circle here that has a radius of 10. Because if the whole diameter is 20, that means each piece from the center F to the circle is 10.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. I should know that.
Okay, you got those two right. Let's look at this next one. Okay, so on this one, this is an interior angle. So on the interior angles, formula is slightly different. So we had, just to recap one more time. So first, remember we had the inscribed angle. So for the inscribed angle, the vertex is on the circle, correct, right?
Yes.
So if this is my measure X, the measure of the angle, what did we say would happen if it was on the circle? What was the measure of the arc? The angle was equal to what?
It was equal to the, what's it called? If it's to the little dot right there.
If it was inscribed, what was the relationship between the angle and the arc?
It would be equal.
No, if it's on the circle, the measure of the angle is half the measure of the arc.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had the central angle. And for the central angle, that's when the angle has the vertex on the circle. So the vertex is on the circle. So here, if you have an angle X, the measure of the angle X is equal to the measure of the arc. Okay?
Okay.
So now what we have is we have a vertex of an angle. So the angle measurement that we're looking for is MAJ.
Mm-hmm.
So MAJ is this angle right here. This is MAJ.
Okay.
So this is what we call an interior angle. And that's because the vertex of the angle is in the inside of the circle, but it's not on the center. So this is equal to half the sum of the two arcs. So we have 170 and then 80. So I add these two up and then I take half. So I take 1/2 of 170 plus 80. So that's 1/2 of 250. So this angle here is 125.
Okay.
Okay, but I don't want to know what that angle is. I'm looking for this angle right here. So what's the relationship between this angle and this angle here? What's the relationship between those two?
And they can't be both equal to 120.
They form a straight line, so what should they add up to?
Oh Lord. 80.
180. So you've got 125 plus that angle, measure of angle JAM, supposed to equal 180. So what does that make the measure of the angle JAM?
Am I supposed to put it? You know how you got the problem right here on the side? Am I supposed to do it like that? Use the same formula?
This?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right now we've already found that angle. Now we know that these two angles add up to 180. So you take 180 and you subtract 125 to get the angle. And what do you get as an angle measurement?
55.
55. All right, and this is the last type of angle, and this is what we call an exterior angle. Okay, and why do you think we call it an exterior angle?
Probably because the angle is outside of the circle.
Right, there's my vertex of my angle. So, on the inscribed angle, remember that the vertex of the angle is on the circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the measure of the angle is equal, x is equal to half the arc. On the central angle, where was the vertex of the angle?
Jesus. It wasn't half, was it? It was.
It was on the center of the circle.
Yeah.
So the measure of the angle was equal to the arc. And remember, then we looked at the interior angle. That was the last one we looked at.
Mm-hmm.
And on that one, the vertex of the angle was in the inside. So the measure of that angle, x, was equal to half the sum of the two arcs. Okay?
Okay.
So on this one here, this is an exterior angle, and we call it an exterior angle because the angle's on the outside. So it's equal to half the difference. So this angle here is equal to half, and you got to subtract these two angles. So it's 175 minus 105. And then you take half. So what's that measure of the angle y? It's going to be 1/2 of 70. So what's the measure of angle y?
Where's my... Oh.
What's half of 70?
I got a 35.
That's right. So then all of these problems in this unit are based on those ideas, those angle measurements. So you just look to see where the angle is, and then the measure of the angle is equal to that. And then, so the only other formula that you have to have is the area of the sector formula. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so just to kind of sum up, you want to go over just delete. Okay, so you should have the following formulas that you want to go over. How to find an inscribed angle.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, that's the one where it's on the circle. So how do you find, what's the relationship between that angle and the arc?
They're equal?
Not when it's on
No.
the circle. What's the measure?
Oh, 1/2 arc.
1/2 the arc. So then you have your central angle. This is where the vertex of the angle is on the circle. And so what's the measure? What's the relationship to the arc?
Jesus, we just went over this. Oh, got a bad memory. It was 1/2 times that. It was 1/2 arc times 2, something like that.
For a central angle, the measure of the angle is equal to the measure of the arc.
Oh, that one is the one that's equal.
Then you have an interior angle. That's where you have that's not very good drawing, but this is where the vertex of the circle's on the inside, and then you have 2 arcs. So what's the measure of the angle here?
Was it the last one I just said?
Which is what?
1/2 the arc times 2?
No, it's half the sum of the arcs.
Oh yeah, half the sum of arc.
And then the last one is when you have an exterior. So that's when it's on the outside. So here's the vertex and it's on the outside. So the measure of the angle x is equal to half the difference of the arcs.
Okay.
Okay? So I am going to, oh, and then wait, go back. So that's for the angle measurements. And then the other thing you need to know is area of a sector. Area of a sector. And that formula is the measure of the angle over 360 times pi r squared.
Okay.
Okay, so I am going to save this and I'm going to send it to you along with the link to this video.
Okay.
For your help session. And then, do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Asia, are you in part B or part A?
B.
Okay, so I'm just going to just put notes from help session. I'm going to send that along with a copy of the video. And there's going to be another Skype session Monday evening because you'll have to take the EOC. But while I have you on here, let's go ahead and take a quick look at your progress report.
Okay.
All right, so here's your progress report. Can you see it yet, or did I stop presenting? Let me switch my screen over. Okay, so here's your progress report. So you know you should be 75% of the way through the class, right?
Yes.
And you're only 25% of the way through the class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how are we going to finish up here? Ideas?
By working every day. It was just this test. It's just that first module was killing me because that was my worst. Like, I just couldn't get through that. Mm-mm.
Okay, well, did you find this helpful?
Yes.
Okay, so then this is what we want to do. Remind me what school it is that you're at.
Langston.
Langston, okay. Hang on 1 second. So let me, nope, okay. It's not what I was looking for. Here it is. Langston. All right, I'm going to go ahead and fill this form out with you, and then I'm going to send it, and you're going to sign it right now and send it back to me.
Okay.
And it did not open. Hang on 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Asia, let's get a pen here. See if I can save this, if it'll open it for me. Will not let me use my pen for some reason. But, All right, well, I'll do it this way. So, is this the only class that you're taking?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who is your counselor?
Ms. Worrell.
And are you in the lab at all?
Yes, ma'am.
What period?
First period, 8A.
Okay. And so I am the only class you said, right?
Yes.
Geometry is your only class, Geometry B. So, and I am your teacher. And according to your progress report, so you should be at 75, but you've only done 25. So your target completion, or where you should be, is 75. You've completed 25. So as you know, that gives you an actual grade of only 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as assignments go, you have you still have several quizzes, 22 quizzes, 26, 27 major assignments left to do. 27 major assignments left to do.
Okay.
Percentage-wise, you're behind by 50%. And we have 23 days left of school.
Okay.
So, how do you think you can get caught up?
By doing it more, staying on it longer, and catching up over the break.
All right, so you're going to stay on the class longer. Okay. You're going to work over the break. What else? How about see Miss Pizzuto for help right away?
Yeah.
Think that would be a good idea?
Yes.
Yes, me too. Okay. See Ms. Pizzuto right away for help. Okay? Did this work okay now that you know how to get into the Skype?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm going to send this form to you and I want you to sign it. And then do you think you could take a picture of it with your phone and email it to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're going to need to spend like 3 hours a day on the class.
Okay, now what if I fail this test again? Am I gonna have to retake it again?
Well, we want to make sure you understand because it's on the EOC. All this stuff is, okay? So we'll talk about that. Let's just worry about one thing at a time. You're going to study those notes, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I want you to sign this for me and then take a picture of it right away. Can you print this at home?
I actually can't, but my mom can print it tomorrow morning at work.
Okay. She can sign it and send it and initial it down here.
Okay.
Okay. How's that sound?
Good.
All right. So I'm going to send you this and the video. Okay?
Okay. Are you still gonna send me the sheet so I can take a picture and send it to your email?
Say that again, honey.
Oh, I said, are you still going to send the picture of the sheet so I can take a picture and send it to your email?
What sheet are you referring? I'm going to send you the notes.
No, I'm talking about this sheet right here that you just got through filling out.